The trend for workplace restructuring has really come from the combination of forces that businesses face today. And there are three principal challenges in Europe as we see it. The first is just that the economies in Europe are flatlining for the most part. Some are even more challenged. The second, in many industry sectors, we see excess capacity and huge downward pressure on prices and margins. And if that wasn't difficult enough, then that comes in combination with traditional business models being undermined by the digitization of the economy, with the UK being in the lead in the whole G20 in terms of the percentage of our GDP that's now in the internet. Restructuring is particularly important now for businesses because of the combination of these forces and because we're not going to see dramatic improvements in the economic situation in the near term. We will continue to see significant growth in the digital economy, and organisations with high fixed costs, particularly those with large consumer and shopper-facing infrastructure, really need to fundamentally change their business models if they're going to survive and thrive into the future. I think there are some differences in the way businesses of different scale and sizes can approach this. In some ways, smaller businesses have an advantage of agility. And if they're really clear and focused on what their customers are really looking for, getting that value proposition clear and aligning everything behind it, then some very real opportunities. What's common, though, for both large businesses and smaller businesses is the need for clear, strong leadership. When businesses go through major transformation, restructuring, then it can be really destabilizing for people, and for leadership to provide a clear vision of where they're going, to align their people behind that end game and energize them behind what that means positively, absolutely fundamental. And that's true for large businesses and small businesses alike. I think in the retail sector, which is one of the sectors that has very large consumer-facing infrastructure, stores basically, we're seeing retailers, both some of them struggling, the likes of Blockbuster, Jessop's clearly examples of retailers that have come to grief given the changes we're seeing. But we're even seeing the world's most advanced retailers, and we have some of those in the UK, starting to rethink what space really means, what they do in their stores, how they use that space, how they think about optimizing space across the store. So really quite profound rethinking of the whole role of the store in a wider digital environment. We're also seeing many businesses look at how they can become more agile given the pace of change we're seeing in the market. In fact, there are some good examples of businesses that have done that in the past. The aero engine sector, for example, changed its business model some years ago, and increasingly airlines no longer buy aero engines, they actually buy hours of flight time on the wing. What we're going to see, we believe, is other sectors starting to move to different business models that are much more closely aligned with the needs of their customers. So whether that means construction companies moving their business models to more charging by the ton of earth moved or whatever, there'll be many examples like that. The critical thing for leadership to get right here is to know when the time is right. And if you look at some of the examples we've seen in the market of businesses that have hit the buffers, actually, it's generally been because change was too little and too late. The really tough and most important job for a leader in this situation is to understand when to make the tough choices and to move early on making the changes that are going to make the business fit for the future. And sometimes that will be a hard call because it may feel too early, but often it's not. I think when businesses undergo major change, restructuring, transformation, it's really important that the destination is clearly communicated, and actually the purpose of the whole thing is described in the right, clear way. Restructuring tends to have some pretty scary connotations, but to talk about transformation, talk about positive change, talk about opportunities for people, talk about the destination and as an exciting place to be going, all of those are absolutely key. I think there's three main things to think about when we're thinking about restructuring or transformation. The first is that the critical role of leadership in taking the tough decisions at the right time. The next is being absolutely clear about the destination as an exciting place to go, with a clear common sense of purpose. And then the third is don't underestimate how challenged people will be and how disabled they will be in that journey. So supporting people through that process of change, absolutely critical. Done well, and restructuring can truly be positive transformation.